Hello, friends. I am not on the moon anymore, apparently. That was quite the Stargate special effect I just saw. Sparky, come in. There's been a teleporter malfunction. Sparky, are you there? Blast it. Never trust an engineer with a product defect for a nickname. I'd better still be covered by warranty. Looks like I'm stranded on this mudball.
Oh, hello there, mysterious person who I've never met before. I like your voice.
Thank you. Where am I?
It's Denmark.
Is this the one where you're a Nazi if you hate child marriage?
No, that's Sweden. Ja, svenske svin.
And who are you?
I'm Lo-Fi.
Do you have a backstory? Mother of a demon spawn, multiple personalities, orc with rage issues, wrestler?
I'm Danish.
So a sweet fruit filling. Got it.
You can try some if you like.
Later.
Aw.
What do you do here for fun?
Oh, we put on funny voices. We do overly long dramatic pieces pretending to be bad guys.
Sounds dreadful.
Very much so. That's why I watch anime.
Oh, less dreadful.
Have you seen Cells at Work?
I love Cells at Work.
Oh my god. Let's review it! Cells at Work. Woo! Cells at Work take place in a human body. The protagonists are human versions of the cells inside us. The main character are a red blood cell and a white blood cell. It also features macrophages, very sexy, T cells, and cute small platelets.
Cells at Work started as a manga series by Akane Shimizu. It was first published in March 2015 in Monthly Shonen Serious. The manga has been brought to the States by Kodansha. All 5 volumes of the manga have been released in English so far. The manga is still being published, in fact. There are also 2 spin-off series, Bacteria That Work and Cells That Don't Work.
The Cells at Work anime aired in July 2018. It's by the studio David Production and has 13 episodes planned. At the time of this writing, 5 of those episodes have been released. Crunchyroll simulcasts the series for North America, and when it's released in Japan, I watch it totally legally.
Yes, legally. Now, you were the first to bring this series to my attention, Lo-Fi, so you go first. What got you into it?
Initially, which is my instant draw to series, is the art. I love art. I'm a bad artist myself, but watching great art helps me get in the mood and give me ideas how to progress my own art. What really got me into it though was the portrait of a guy dressed completely in white with a knife looking psychotically. The second I get past it, oh, this looks beautiful, I read a quick summary and then give any series that passes this a free episode chance to hook me. Most fails, but Cells at Work definitely hooked me right in. It is the good version of Osmosis Jones, a show I watched a ton of as a kid. But as I grew older, I realized how mediocre and bad it actually is. With bad storytelling, one-note characters, no character growth, and besides the 3 main protagonists, no one else is memorable. I don't actually even remember anyone else but Osmosis Jones' name. Cells at Work does it well. Every character is simple but fitting to the biology they are meant to portray. And as an added bonus, this is legit edutainment. Damn, it's been a while since I could use that word without scoffing or giggling. Though the characters are simple in mindset, the implementation in the story and setting is very close, if not flawless. It's also characters that without much depth, besides so far few things that set them apart like the red blood cell keeps getting lost, the expression on the face and the reaction they make is truly wonderful. And the white blood cell's psychotic trait when faced with an enemy germ is laugh out loud worthy. It's not a high budget animation. A lot of repeat scenery, however with the focus on some individual main cells, some actually legit biology lessons and fun scenarios, while not perfect, it is highly enjoyable. I mean, name another show that can make a scrape as epic as any shonen I've ever seen.
For me, I love creative science series. I was a huge fan of Moyashimon when I saw it back in 2010. This series combines the cuteness of the tan phenomenon with a good knowledge of biology. I found it a great refresher of the immune system, which seems to be the main focus, like eosinophils' role in driving out parasites. While it does have a lot of over-the-top bloody action, I'd recommend it to biology teachers in schools. Edit down an episode or just show an episode straight up. The influenza one would be great during winter. Just make sure to use the English dub, since most kids don't have the patience for subtitles. I'd also recommend the Cedar Pollen episode 5, if you live in Texas. Oh boy. The series isn't perfect, though. The animation isn't terrible, but this was not a high-budget series by any stretch. I've already started to notice the use of recycled animation, especially for some of the crowd scenes, for example. Also, stay away if you're squeamish about blood. There's buckets of it, though it's played for exaggerated laughs over gore.
I love blood. The blood of my enemies.
Oh my. Any body parts you're hoping will get a spotlight in the series?
Oh, the groinal area? STDs make for the perfect anime ecchi, which might help get disgusting people's minds off the delightfully cute platelets. So ecchi STD. Some of them should be super gross as to make people go, yeah, better use protection. But definitely the groinal zonary. How about you, love?
I want to see more of the brain. Neurons are like computer chips, so I love to show a futuristic cyberpunk environment for the mind, with the neurons as cyborgs and robots. Lo-Fi, have you considered the scale of size and time the show deals in?
I imagine it's very, very small. And very, very short. Like Smeagol! Or maybe I'm mistaken. Are they very, very rotund? Like Antoine?
Indeed it is. Let's start with the two main characters, red blood cell and white blood cell. Red blood cells are only 6 to 8 micrometers in diameter, while neutrophils are typically 12 to 15 micrometers. So when they depict her as shorter than him, that's correct, but she's not nearly short enough. She should only be at most 2/3 his height. So if he was 6 feet tall, 72 inches, then she would only be 48 inches tall, or 4 feet.
Oh no, so he'd had to bend over to kiss her. That's really cute. I wish I had someone taller than me to bend down and pat my head. Nudge, nudge. Wink, wink.
It gets weirder if you think about the platelets. In the show, they're small children, but platelets are only 2 to 3 micrometers in size, half the size of the red blood cell. So that would make them only about 2 feet tall in this example.
That is legitimately baby size. That is shake it baby small.
On the opposite end, eosinophil, the white blood cell in pink, was shown to be a little shorter than neutrophil. However, she's actually 12 to 17 micrometers. So she ought to be the same height, if not a little taller than him. And then there's macrophages, who are about 21 micrometers. In the show, macrophages are shown about the same size as neutrophil. In reality, she should be 30% taller than him. So if he's 72 inches, she should be over 101 inches tall. That's about 8.5 feet.
So like me, big strong Viking woman.
The height difference between red blood cell and white blood cell may seem pretty big with 4 foot and 6 foot, but the biggest size difference are the two cells actually meant to be a couple: sperm and egg. Sperm only has about 1/5 of the volume of a red blood cell. Scaling that to height, that puts them at slightly under 1 foot tall.
Oh snap, that's the size of a doll.
And now consider the female egg. The macrophage is an Amazonian 8.5 feet with her 21 micrometers. But the female egg? 120 micrometers, 6 times the size.
By that logic and fact, if we ever saw a female egg, it'd be Attack of the 50-foot women. Wait a second. Eggs are round. Attack of the 50-foot fatty. But wait, how would she even see the sperm when he's less than a foot tall? She could barely see the white blood cell from that height, and that's without the need of glasses.
Well, she'd have over 1 million suitors, so they could form a human pyramid to get her attention.
That makes me wonder how long they could hold themselves up like that. In fact, since the scale of size is off, what about time? In the first episode, we see the red blood cell find her way to the body to the lungs with CO2. It takes her nearly 20 minutes. That definitely doesn't seem like real time. But then again, she does have the character trait of getting lost. A lot.
Well, in the real world, it takes red blood cells 60 seconds, or just 1 minute, to cycle through the human body. So that episode was slowed to roughly 1/20th actual speed. In episode 3, we see influenza invade the body. They state that it took over a week to defeat the flu virus and use a time skip. That's a week our time. Using their relative perception of time, that's 20 weeks, or 140 days.
See, now I'm wondering if that's the scale the show always uses.
Looks like there's conflict on that. In episode 2, we see the platelets closing up a wound and stopping bacteria from entering. In real time, that takes several minutes. So with the 1/20th scale, that would have taken multiple episodes to form. Yet in the show, they lay down the fibrin in less time than it takes normally. So time perception seems highly relative and flexible to the characters.
Wait, the human body supposedly replaces itself every 7 years. How long before these characters will die?
The good news is red blood cells are among the longer-lived cells. 4 months, or roughly 120 days. So with the 1/20th relative time, she'll go through 80 months, or 5 years.
That is a lot of 20 minutes episodes. Yes!
Right. The bad news is our other lead character isn't as lucky. Neutrophils only last 1 to 5 days, or 80 days of relative time. That's only a 24th of the time red blood cells are alive.
So they start dating, they fall in love, and only 80 days into it, he dies? 80 days of dating is nothing. It's less than 3 months. There are red herring relationships that last way longer than that.
It gets worse. The eosinophil we saw in episode 4, she only lives 2 to 5 days, about the same as neutrophil. So she'll only get to enjoy her time in the sun very briefly. The stomach worker cells from the same episode, 2 to 9 days. So 180 days relative time, or 6 months. Eosinophil's exploits will be remembered past her death for all of a few months.
What's even the point?
Oh, we're not done. The platelets.
Oh no.
They only live 10 days. They get 200 days of relative time to be cute, and then they're gone. Forever.
I want to hug them all and tell them it will be okay now. Can we move on from this? I don't want to think about all my lovely anime cell waifus, husbandos, and now platelets, childeroos dying.
Well, these numbers only apply to your cells. I'm a grasshopper. My cells are practically immortal. So they're only dying because you humans are so badly constructed.
As much as I like my Viking body, that does sadden me immensely.
Now, every human is basically the same when you look at them. But I'm curious about what kind of human this show takes place in. Who is this person? What do they do? How old are they? What malicious grasshopper god rests on their shoulder feeding them lies?
In Osmosis Jones, you know the person. Here, they are a mystery. It actually makes it more exciting. It's like a puzzle.
They do give us a few hints, though. We know they eat seafood, as episode 4 shows them getting a parasite and infection from some. They get a scrape wound in episode 2, so they are physically active.
There's a hint of a global epidemic in episode 3 when influenza type A shows up. Influenza A is what bird flu like H5N1 is classified as.
Based on this data, they're probably a lower or lower middle class worker of some sort in Asia. H5N1 is most prevalent among the poor who go to open air markets, which is a common feature mainly in Asia.
It's likely the person is Japanese, given that this is a manga, but it's not guaranteed. But given current trends of outsourcing animation to China or South Korea, China does sound more likely.
They seem to buy low quality seafood, hence the infection. That further implies low economic status.
Another possibility is it's a kid. Children are susceptible to H5N1 more than adults. Scrapes are more common features of child behavior. And the cheap seafood could be them spending their allowance on questionable food, or just eating whatever they find on the ground.
Here's another theory. The story is non-linear. In episode 2, they all die. We see the two main characters involved in forming a scab. Scabs fall off when they dry as new skin forms underneath. That means both of them are dead and gone by the end. The other episodes are just flashbacks to an earlier time before they all die.
That's horrible Tyro stuff.
They're cells. They live, they die, they're absorbed back into the body and expelled as waste.
It all ends as poo.
Every living thing ends up as poo eventually. Well, that was fun. What are you currently doing?
I work for a very famous British voice actor who keeps talking about saving the internet while not actually doing anything.
Sounds boring. Want to join me?
I've always wanted to explore the spatium.
Just one thing. There is the matter of your body.
What? Am I too fat?
No, it's human. You'll need to be a grasshopper.
I am more than okay with transitioning. Little wink.
Excellent. Zell, clone 616. 2 to beam up. Zell, clone 616. Come in. Ah, darn Zell clones. Leave them unattended for 5 seconds. They hop on the internet to scream the N-word at their old boss. This may take a while. Until our paths cross again. Farewell.
One of the best videos I have seen on the internet, Tyro.
Ravioli, ravioli, please don't lewd the platelet lowlies.